All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am James Oliver Jr., the founder and CEO of the Parentpreneur Foundation, where we empower Black parentpreneurs so they can leave a legacy for their beautiful Black children. It's what we do. Today, I'm super excited. We have another fantastic show for you because we stay bringing the fire, not the smoke. Nah, not here for the smoke. Here for the fire. That's what we do. So look, just a little bit of housekeeping first, just a quick update about what's going on with the foundation because we always have so many wonderful things going on thanks to the generosity of people like you watching and the partnerships we have. So what's going on? Oh, so this is a semi-secret, but I'm terrible. If you don't want to keep a secret, don't tell me. I'm bad at it. But I will partially keep it at least. So a couple of weeks ago, we had the director from the Techstars Catalyst program. They're launching a pre-accelerator program here in Atlanta in partnership with JP Morgan Chase for women in Atlanta. And it's a really great program. And it hasn't been announced yet, but I know that out of 20 people that are participating in that program, 2 of the members from the Parentpreneur Foundation community are accepted into that program. So I'm super excited about that. What else happened? So yesterday we had one of our community members, Chelsea Elliott, who has this really great card game for children to teach them emotional intelligence. It's called SomoCom Lab, somocomlab.com. She was on the Karen Hunter show on SiriusXM Radio. She crushed her interview. She sold a bunch of cards, got a bunch of people added to her distribution list. Very good, all great stuff. And then we have Calvin Harris, Calvin Williams Jr. from Freeman Capital, who just phenomenal, brother. He's going to be in there next week, and he raised $600,000 from friends and family just by getting them to invest using their qualified retirement account, which is just like mind blown. Super dope dude. He went through the Generator, Northwestern Mutual Black Founder Accelerator program. Anyway, he's going to be on there, I think, next week sometime. So lots of great stuff going on here in the foundation. And it's that last piece, the friends and family piece, which is a segue into this conversation we're having today with Mickey Reynolds from Grid 110. Add her to the stream here, and Austin Clements, also from Grid 110, but also with Slauson & Co., a venture capitalist. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Wonderful, wonderful. Excited to be here. It's an awesome show. So thank you for having us on.
I'm so excited to have you here. So a little housekeeping. I just got to read the bios. I hate doing that, but we got to read the bios because people just need to know how incredibly awesome you guys are. And I'll read Mickey's first because it's ladies first, right, Mickey? That's what I always try to tell my son. I have 8-year-old boy-girl twins, and the boy just keeps forgetting, like, yo, ladies first. Sorry, Daddy. No, you're not sorry. You keep doing it. Knock it off. Ladies first. So Mickey Reynolds is CEO and co-founder of Grid 110, an LA-based early-stage startup accelerator and community development nonprofit. Since 2014, she's focused on activating the startup ecosystem in LA through her work with Grid 110, fostering community and connecting the dots for entrepreneurs through access to mentoring and critical resources. Her 16 years of experience in tech ranges from digital marketing and creative services to software development and e-commerce, and includes managing digital projects at MGM Studios and 20th Century Fox. And then we have Austin Clements. Austin is a partner at Slauson & Co., an early-stage venture capital firm rooted in economic inclusion. Prior to this, he was a principal at 10110 Ventures. Austin is founding chair of Pledge LA and on the boards of HBCU VC and Library Foundation of LA. He received his MBA from NYU Stern and his BA from Morehouse College. That's my Morehouse brother right there. What's up, everybody? What's good?
What's good? What's good? Great to be here.
Hey, James. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so I really wanted to have you on, Mickey. So I met Mickey when we both went through the Techstars Foundation Accelerate Equity program, and we stayed in touch. And for months, she was teasing, "Oh man, we have this great," because they've been Grid 110 has been primarily LA based, but she said we have this great national program coming. I can't tell you what it is yet, but she's like, you got me like on edge. I'm like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And then on Twitter, I saw her, oh, great news coming tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay. And then bam, it dropped. I'm like, oh, we got to have you on because I love that they're standing in the gap for underserved, underestimated, Black and Latinx founders. Is that correct?
Yeah, go ahead, Mickey, please.
No, I was going to say it's open in terms of we're focused on building a really inclusive ecosystem for
Okay.
entrepreneurs. It just so happens that the majority of our own community reflects the type of founders that we're looking to support more of. So that's Black, Latinx, AAPI,
Okay.
underserved under a number of definitions.
Yep.
So there's no specific requirements, but we're definitely seeking out those who are untapped, overlooked, needing additional support and resources that they're typically locked out of.
Yeah, well, I love this because as a Black founder, I mean, I went through Generator years ago, and I founded We Montage, and now I have this foundation that I founded, and I'm actually working on a new startup. I don't know if I told you guys about that, but we can talk about that later. But one of the things that infuriates me is when folks, let's keep it a buck, it's mostly white folks, telling folks, oh, well, go to your friends and family to raise your first round of capital. You're like, like, where the money reside? Like, what you talking about? Like, simply look at the data. Our friends and family don't have the money, so like knocking off. So it's really infuriating. I mean, so much so that in the foundation, we actually did something about it. We raised money, and we're partnering with this organization out of Colorado called Justice Reskill, and they train justice-involved individuals to code under the tutelage of mentors and as an apprentice. And so we have people from our community that we send over there. We raise money for $5,000 per app to have them get an app built. So now they have a working prototype. They can get some data points and feedback, and now they actually have something to show to a prospective investor, not just, oh, I have an idea for this app. So we're doing that, but we did that because we're really frustrated about people telling Black founders to go to their friends and family for money. So tell me a little bit about what Grid 110 is, like why you guys started it, like tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick background on that, and then how Austin and I joined forces, and then how this came to be. I can let him chat a little bit more about that. So we started Grid 110 really out of a need to support early stage founders where we feel like a community didn't exist that kind of reflected our own backgrounds and experiences. For anybody familiar with the Los Angeles region, it's huge and very spread out. And most of the tech ecosystem was centered around a very particular area, the Silicon Beach area, so Santa Monica, Venice, Playa Vista. But for those of us that live, outside of that area, and we're also just looking to connect with founders in different types of ways and be a part of a community that looked like us, felt like we could belong. We wanted to create the thing that we felt didn't exist. So Grid 110 was born out of that. We've run programs for the past 6 years now, all free. So there's no cost, there's no equity taken from the founders to participate. We've worked with 215 companies, anywhere from idea stage all the way through post-launch phase and everywhere in between. 70% of the founders are women, and 70% are founders of color. So again, just reflecting the community that we see every day and are looking to support. And then last year, in the middle of the pandemic, we had been focused on how can we expand our programming, how can we support founders that truly are overlooked and under-supported. And we're targeting a very specific part of Los Angeles, which is South Central, South LA. And we were looking for somebody to help support those efforts where predominantly the neighborhoods are Black and brown entrepreneurs. And so Austin came on board to help us launch that expansion. We've built on that, ever since. And so that's culminated into what we're announcing, or what we've announced this week, which is Friends and Family. So I'll let Austin speak a little bit to kind of his experience, where we took it from there and where we are now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mickey. So, we were really excited about this. Working with Grid 110. Grid 110 has been doing phenomenal work in LA locally, and the South LA program was a testament to the fact that there are super talented entrepreneurs that are coming from areas that have been just historically underserved and overlooked. A lot of people thought when we did the South LA program, they were like, "Are you going to have enough businesses apply or applications come in?" And at the time, it was like one of the largest sets of applications that came in for Grid 110 cohorts. So it was very obvious to us. Of course, there's ambition, there's talent, there's people that want resources that speak very directly to them. So that kind of set the precedent for the fact that we could do programming that's targeting this particular population, but expand it nationally. As by way of a little bit more background, I run a venture capital fund called Slauson & Co. We're early stage, pre-seed and seed stage fund rooted in economic inclusion. A lot of what we do, a lot of what drives us and motivates us is creating more economic opportunities for a wider variety of people. With the venture capital fund, you have over $70 million in assets under management that are intended to be deployed into capital, which is like a very solid amount of money. But in the grand scheme of things, like we
Wow.
know that there's more entrepreneurs out there than what we could serve from just the fund alone. And so we wanted to say, how do we continue to advance that mission broader or beyond the portfolio of the companies that we actually invest in from the fund? We created a nonprofit organization or a nonprofit arm of our firm, which we're calling Off Slauson. But the focus of the nonprofit was to say, all right, how can we continue to accelerate this and create new opportunities? And one of the things that was born out of that was this Friends and Family program. So Friends and Family, it's a 12-week program, accelerator program that's focused on supporting companies across the country. We'll probably have about 20 companies in the cohort. In addition to the education that comes along with that, with what Grid 110 has been doing for quite some time, very successfully. We're also giving a capital grant of $20,000 of non-dilutive capital, meaning it's not taking any equity in your company or anything like that. It's just purely just $20,000. It could go to paying down your credit card debt. It could go to buying inventory, hiring your first employee. What we realize is that there's just a massive that type of money could really move the needle for a lot of people who have brilliant ideas but don't necessarily have the capital. Obviously, we named it Friends and Family as an homage to the Friends and Family round that Silicon Valley so often asks for. And I guess so we're looking at watch that grow. We just announced the program last week, and then the other part is the actual friends and family of the organization. So we have, if you take a look at at the website, you go to off.slauson.co. You'll see the website, but we have a whole host of people that are really, really excited to support the program, and these are people that are at the top of their game, like Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks, or Ron Conway, who led SV Angel, or Jeff Wilkie, and other folks that are just really making significant contributions.
Did I see Joanne Wilson's name on there as well?
Joanne Wilson from New York. Yeah, Joanne Wilson's phenomenal.
So yeah, Joanne and Fred actually supported the Parentpreneur Foundation last year with a grant from their foundation. So I was super excited to see that.
Exactly. Yeah. No, they're awesome. They're phenomenal, and I've looked up to Fred for years, and Joanne's been a phenomenal angel investor for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, hold on, let's put a pin in that because there's so much to unpack it. I hate that word, unpack. It's so overused, but I apologize for that. But there's just so much to talk about with what you just said there. And the one thing you didn't say, which I think is super important, is that you don't have to be a technical founder or building a tech startup to do this, right? Can you please talk about that? Because a lot of people listening out here are probably like, damn it, well, all the money keep going to all the people building tech. I got an e-commerce business. I'm making money. Right, but I'm not trying to scale this thing up to $100 million in revenue.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both Mickey and I could talk about that for days. But, I think that particularly over the last decade, there's been so much attention focused on, venture capitalists. And as a result, every new business, or so many new businesses that want to grow and scale or that have really interesting products, end up going to try to raise money from VCs, and it's not always aligned. It doesn't always make sense to raise from VCs. That's for a very specific thing. I'm a VC, and I tell founders this all the time, like, hey, it may not make sense for you, and it's not a better than or worse than situation. It's just an entirely different model. But so the other insight that I full credit to Mickey and the Grid 110 team is that if you get like a software program, SaaS program, like a founder in the room with a coffee shop owner, and both of them are starting new businesses, they have something to learn from each other. The software tech founder can learn about customer service, can learn about profitability, and all kinds of things that actually are foundational to how they think about building a better product. And then same thing, the coffee shop owner could learn about how do you think about growth? How do you think about distribution and expansion and things like that, in non-conventional ways of creating innovative cultures and whatnot. And so what happens is, and it's been happening for years in Grid 110, it's magic happens when you start putting those two groups together. But I'll let Mickey speak to that.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of other programs or opportunities with funding or looking for a very specific type of founder. But we know that 0.5% of all businesses will go down the venture capital route. So what makes sense for the 99.5% of businesses? Small business is the backbone of our economy, of our cities, particularly what's happened this past year and a half with the pandemic and how they've just been upended. And so we felt like it was really important. We've been doing this since the beginning, is supporting a diverse array of types of businesses, business models, types of founders. So whether you're working on a side hustle, a more traditional brick and mortar type of a small business, a sustainable growth company, you're not looking to be a $1 billion company, but you would like to leave a legacy for your children, or you want to go down the venture route. We recognize that they all need the same things in terms of foundational education and support. They all need community. And connecting with other like-minded founders and peers and sharing those experiences across the table to know that you're not alone in this, especially for first-time founders. And they all need capital in some shape or form to help grow. So whether it's the inventory, the first hire, the being able to leave your full-time job to make your side hustle your full-time thing, I think those are really important things that capital can enable and allow, and we want to play a small role in that.
Right. 100% to all of that. So can you talk a little bit about what types of businesses can apply for this grant, for the program, the accelerator program?
So we look for companies that do want to be innovative, and innovative is not synonymous with technology, right? We do if your company is just another version of whatever else is out there and kind of commodity product, it's probably not for us. We usually look for product-based businesses rather than service-based businesses, but it's innovative products where ultimately we do think that you can become sort of a category leader, if you will. But beyond that, it's pretty wide ranging. We also look for companies that are very early in their development. We do want to see companies where $20,000 can actually really move the needle for the progress that they're making. Some people are fortunate enough that they do have access to capital and the resources or network or whatnot. We really want to see companies that are kind of early in their development and have not yet been able to do that in part because the capital has stood in the way.
Yeah. So you mentioned also something about community, and I'm obviously big supporter of that, because at the core of the Parentpreneur Foundation is our community. Actually, I need to just send you guys an invitation so you could just join the community. We have so many people. Well, also, you just said you have a kid. You're an entrepreneur. You are a Parentpreneur fan. Clearly, you Black.
Exactly. I got a 6-year-old who really wants to show up on this thing right now.
It happens all the time here. We are welcoming. We understand. We even invite the kids to come in and say hello. We do it all the time because life happens, right? But yeah, we'd love to have you in. Mickey, we'd love to have you in as well. We have tons of allies. I mean, David Cohn's in our foundation community. Brad Fell's in the community. David responds to people all the time inside the community. You got people like that in there. But how? What's your guys' approach to building community? Do you have like a portal where people can go in and build community that way? Like, how are you guys building community that way?
Yeah, for us, and this is something that we've been doing since the very beginning at Grid 110, and infuse into every aspect of our program. It's a core value. Community is a core value of ours. It's a pillar. It's what we put to the forefront when people are coming. Why would they apply to this type of a program? Oftentimes we see we're looking for community, and what that looks like, it's like starting at the very beginning when we welcome people into our community. And the touch points that our team has created to make them feel like they belong, that they're seen, that we really appreciate the businesses that they're building and their feedback in making this a better program for the next cohort. As I mentioned, we have 215 companies that we've worked with. They all reside in a Slack channel. So there's engagement happening in terms of different channels, people asking questions. Just had a CPG founder yesterday ask, has anybody tested into CVS? Can you give me any tips on how to approach that? I need an accountant. Anybody have recommendations for an attorney? So just the simple things where the recommendation and somebody's lived experience of having used a vendor, a service, a platform speaks volumes for people is super helpful. We also have a team that's dedicated to supporting and creating community efforts internally within our own organization. So within the cohort itself, within the 12 weeks, being able to provide opportunities to connect them to our alumni. We have alumni that come back and mentor the founders. And then we bring in other outside partners as well. We offer events and things that are open to the broader community so that they can, engage, that we can provide value outside of just the work that we're doing. And I've heard that, I think people come to us because they're looking for support. With this particular program, the capital is huge. But what they think they don't realize and they really underestimate is the value of the community and what they get out of it until after the program.
100%. So one of our slogans used to be when we would open up for grants, because in the last year, we've been around for about a year now, we started during COVID, was come for the grant, stay for the community, because we've given away we've written 40 checks, $41,000 checks, like I said, makes it like a micro fund, but that's still 40 people in a year. And I think spinning this up from nothing, that's impressive, I think. Sorry.
It is impressive. Yeah, you earned that pat. That is
impressive.
Man. But to your point, where I see you going with this, like I like the headline of the program or things that catch a lot of attention with folks. The reason why we were shared across the country is like the $20,000 number. Mm-hmm. I guarantee that a year from now, when you ask the people what was the most valuable part about the program, they'll talk about the community. And that's it's hard to sell until you feel it, but when you're a part of it, it's amazing.
It is. And I think particularly, in my case, we have a community of Black people. I think it is harder to sell that piece of it because it's just not something that we're used to, and we're not used to people like literally and authentically standing up in community spirit and for us. It's like real skepticism, but when you roll up into the Parentpreneur Foundation community, and I show up consistently, every single day, people in this chat, if anybody in this chat in the community, can I get an amen for that, please, in the comments? And Liberty, just drop those on there, please. So the value of the community, mind, mood, and movement changing. Exactly. You mentioned something about somebody from CVS. Are you familiar with Curate 360, Nikki? Mm-hmm. Did we talk about that before? So if you go to curate360.com, so that's Jessica Thomas. She's a member of the Parentpreneur Foundation community. Her platform connects retailers with product entrepreneurs. And I know CVS is one of their customers who is, I believe, looking for Black entrepreneurs with products. So just visit curate360.com. Feel free to send her a note on LinkedIn. Tell her I told you to go talk to her. You got a community with products. They're doing a really good job over there. Really, community is so valuable. James Oliver shows up every day. That's right. Got about people on here repping for me. What? So I had a couple more questions. Let me make sure I don't forget them. Before I forget, Mickey, you agreed to do something a little special for the people of the Parentpreneur Foundation community. Do you remember what that was?
I sure do. So we were talking about, outside of just James sharing about what we're doing, bringing us on the show, sharing with the community, we wanted to do something a little bit deeper and more meaningful that would provide some value to potential people that are interested in this. So I have offered to chat with people. I think we said 5 to 10 people, maybe, that James is gonna vet to make sure that they kind of fit the criteria of what we're looking for. I will chat through maybe 20-minute phone calls with each of you to, how can you put your best foot forward on your application? How can you best articulate, what it is that we're looking for? I'm not the sole decision maker when it comes to the application process, but we have seen that, there are some things that help founders stand out. We actually are hosting an info session in a few hours. So if you go to the slauson.co website, you'll see the registration there, and you'll hear the full presentation, hear from some of our alumni, hear how to make your application stand out. But specifically for the Parentpreneur Foundation community, I wanted to offer that up as a additional hand, leg up, whatever it is that we can do to help parents really stand out.
That's so good. Thank you so much, Mickey. So I will, after this is over, I will post this in the community. So our community is free, but we also have a premium group, which is $19.97 a month. It's like ridiculous. But we have so many benefits and so much value that we offer to the community members. Literally can save them tens of thousands of dollars and giving them resources to help them grow their businesses. Like we got AWS credits, $5,000 AWS credits. We have a partnership with Build First. You guys partner with Build First yet?
We've actually have our own perks portal that we've been kind of building relationships with over 40 companies to provide perks and credits.
Okay, well, we had all types of things in there. So this is going to be available for our premium membership group only. So I'm excited to spin this out because membership has his privileges. Madeline, again, PPF with the access, exactly. That's what we do. So this is great. So everybody listening in the Liberty, can you please drop the link so people know where to go and apply for this really great program. It's an accelerator program. It's national. You get $20,000, and they're just going to really help you level up your business and get plugged in. They have a great network and team of people working with them to help them execute this program. I'm super excited about it. This work that you guys are doing, it matters so much. Hey, Austin, I'm going to semi-put you on the spot here, bro, but not for real, for real. We could take that offline. But I would love to talk to you. I don't know what your capacity is for doing more nonprofit type things, but I have an idea. I have two ideas I'm working on right now. One is I want to do a startup studio. We can talk about that if you're game. And then also I'm talking to, so Techstars is doing, they have that Catalyst program that they just spun up here in Atlanta for Atlanta women. And two of our members have got into that program. They're about to announce that here in a couple of weeks. But I want to do something like that with Techstars for Black parentpreneurs nationally. And we need a sponsor to do that. But I have a call, I think Friday next week with the sales guys to see how they can help us, if they can help us. But I would love to pick your brains about, how we can find a sponsor to pay for it, because, we were just like you guys. I want it to be that people could get $20,000. It's not just, here's how we're going to help you level up, and here's how we're going to introduce you to this investor network. But we want to give you some money too, as a way to inspire you to just keep going, because so much of this is just like, hey, we see you, we feel you, we got you, like, keep going. That's the thing, right?
Yep. Happy to talk about it and see where I can help. For us, it's been very dedicated to this mission long before this nonprofit or before this fund or anything like that. Trying to drive more dollars into communities like the ones that we're talking about. Has been a deep passion of mine for a long time. So to the extent that I can help, I'd love to be helpful.
So good. All right, cool, man. Well, I'll ping you an email. In my email, I'll send you a link to join the foundation community. Same for you. Mickey, Liberty's like, it's 12:28. Yeah, Liberty, I know it's 12:28. She'd be on me. She'd be on me. I appreciate it. She's a boss. Stop. Okay. I'll stop. All right, but that's it, everybody. Thank you so much, Mickey and Austin, for coming through. I'm super excited for Grid 110. You guys are literally like doing God's work. Like, for real, we appreciate y'all so much, and I'm excited to know you, Mickey, and I'm excited to meet you, Austin. I'm looking forward to building with you together, man. I'm a little crazy, you see, but I'm crazy like a fox, and we're getting it done out here in these trap streets, man. So, right?
I love it. Well, this is awesome. I appreciate you having us on, and we could spread the word about what we feel like could be quite the game-changing program for at least 20 entrepreneurs. And if it goes as successful as it's planned, then hopefully we'll run it back again beyond this first cohort.
All right. Well, if you have a second to hang on once we wrap this up, that would be cool. Liberty, take us home.